There's a very unique and sometimes fun part of the fire service and public safety in general. When you are looking to move up, you have to go through a process where you test, and you go through a full testing day of going through scenarios to be able to promote up to a next level. It's an impressive process and very in-depth and very stressful. When I was testing for the captain's position with the fire department that I was with, it was an all-day affair. We had role play, we had scenario review, we had written tests, we had oral interviews. We even had to play the role of a coach talking to a subordinate about how they were doing something wrong. All of that was incredibly stressful, and it's designed that way to see if they can break people down and split people up, right? What did I do that entire time while I was getting an in-between testing that day? I stood around like a superhero and I looked really funny. But you know what? It paid off. I got number 1 on the list. You want to talk about how I did it? Let's discuss. Hey, welcome back. My name is Ryan Fields-Spack. Thank you for joining me on today's Hyper Academy All Access show. We're talking a little bit about presence today and how our body position, our poise, our confidence can be projected out by simply the way that we carry ourselves. It's an absolute fantastic topic. I'm excited to talk to you about it. It's going to be very beneficial for you. One other thing that's beneficial, as a thank you for joining me today, I want to give you a free guide. It goes right along with what we're talking about. How to be a better performer, how to focus more in the moment. By utilizing this guide, you're going to be able to do a mindfulness exercise that will lower your pulse, lower your blood pressure, and allow you to focus better and more calmly when things are on the line. When you notice that you're getting a little bit anxious, you can do this exercise. It's called First Just Breathe, and it will bring all of that down to a much more easy level for you to be able to perform and reduce that anxiety. You can get it. It's a single-page guide. You can read it very quickly. Once you got it read, you'll be able to implement this hack, this tip, this trick anytime you need to help you perform better in the moment. You can get the guide by going to hyperakajabi.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. hyperakajabi.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. Again, appreciate you being here. Let's talk a little bit more about presence though. Now, presence. As I talked about, working specifically on something stressful, especially something like my captain's exam, where what we needed to do was sit down and facilitate making an entire day's worth of testing so they can separate out. You've got 20 people that are testing. You got to put them into an order on a list so that they can be placed and promoted. In order to get that order, they put you through some very, very stressful situations. I utilized my First Just Breathe tip all the time during that. I meditated ahead of time. That's for a different video. But most specifically, what I did is I stood with presence, with power, with purpose. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But presence comes and was really brought about by Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy wrote a book called Presence. You can get it on Amazon. I'll leave a link to that description in the description below for you. She also did a TED Talk. If you search here on YouTube, after you finish watching this, of course, for Amy Cuddy TED Talk, you'll be able to watch her 20-minute version where she talks a lot more about presence. I think this is one of the most underrated superpowers that we humans possess. And if we could use it more, we could conquer a lot more things. So, what is presence? Let's talk about a submissive posture, a submissive presence. Think about animals that you've seen that are very submissive, right? Out in our backyard, every morning we've got a family of bunnies that live nearby, right? They're always in our backyard. When we see in the morning the little baby bunny, super cute, it's running out, and as soon as we knock on the window to say hi to it, what does it do? Crouches down, ears back, tail behind its legs. It gets as small as humanly possible, hoping that we don't see it, right? It's going to be all crouched down, it's protecting its vital organs, and it's doing everything it can to disappear. Same with, say, a dog, right? If you see a dog that's very submissive, same posture, right? Ears back, tail between its legs, covering its neck, same kind of thing. Those animals are acting submissively, and when you go to approach them, they continue to act submissively. How about a person? Have you seen a person that is being or acting submissively? If you look in, say, the schools, or you look at, unfortunately, sometimes boys and girls, but especially girls, they can present themselves in a similar submissive posture when they're in an uncomfortable position or scenario, right? So they might have their arms crossed, they're going to have their legs crossed, they're going to be covering their neck, they might even be doing this, right? They are making themselves smaller, and by making themselves smaller, their mind is presenting and appreciating that smallness as I am submissive, and then projects itself outwardly as such. Don't answer questions as much, don't engage as much, and so on and so on. So you're going to see how the submissive posture, just the act of being in that posture, can thereby project via the mind your outward actions as a result of being in that submissive posture. If that kind of makes sense. Take the contrast of that though. How about if you have a dog that is very broad-shouldered, very excited, and very happy, right? They stand tall, their tail is bolt upright, their ears are bolt upright, and they are standing tall and strong. Think about an ape or an orangutan, right? In the jungle, you look at the alpha male gorilla. They are tall, they're strong, broad shoulders, neck up and out. How do they project themselves, right? There's this group in New Zealand that plays rugby. They're called the New Zealand All Blacks. The New Zealand All Blacks do a ritual before every single game. It's called the haka. We'll play a little bit of a version of that right now for you. The haka is where they broaden out their shoulders, and they are able to specifically bring about all of those alpha properties to perform better. Take a look at this copy. Pretty impressive, right? Do you feel like you want to play rugby against those guys right now? I sure don't. Their ability to project that broad stance and all of the different movements that they're doing, they are getting the adrenaline going in their system, and now their body and their mind knows that they can perform better by the mere fact that they just did that ritual, they just did that dance with the broad shoulders and that broad posture. That is the profound difference between a submissive posture and a open, broad, superhero posture, right? Which would you rather be if you're getting ready to play rugby? Submissive or broad? How would you perform if you were in one of those camps? Pretty easy to see that you perform much better if you were in the broad posture one. So Amy Cuddy talks a lot about this. There is scientific resonance and information and studies that she has done and others have done that show this to be the case from a biological level. If you sit in a broad posture, even for just as long as 2 minutes, you will automatically project yourself in a more positive, poised, and confident way. Whereas even if you're unknowingly sitting in a submissive posture and facing the same scenario, you won't perform as well. So the science behind this is absolutely fantastic, which makes it an even cooler hack to be able to improve upon your ability to perform in the moment. So how do you actually do this? And how do you implement this into your day and consciously think about, I need to broaden my pose, my presence in order to perform better? There's a lot of examples of how that would work. You're getting ready to have a really important meeting with your boss. You're getting ready to give a presentation at work, getting ready to give a speech. You're getting ready to sit down and give a podcast and a YouTube video like I did just before this. I stood with that superhero pose so I can feel more confident in talking directly to you today, right? So there's plenty of reasons to do this. It's just a matter of finding when to do it and how to do it without not looking too funny. You've always seen especially on YouTube, or if you ride the subways, the man spreaders, right? The people that spread out and look really funny and take up too much space. It's not very socially elegant for that to happen. There's ways that you can do this without looking like you are taking up more space than you should be in the environment. So a couple of ways that I do this. If I'm doing something like today, talking to you, or if I'm getting ready to get up and give a speech in front of people, I do a number of different things in the morning. First, I meditate. I've got some videos talking about meditation. You're welcome to watch those. I'll leave a couple links below. But after I do my meditation, then I'm going to get myself prepped for the day. I'm going to make sure I've got mindfulness techniques in place so when I do feel a little bit nervous about what I'm doing, I can bring myself back down, kind of like we talked about in that guide that you can get linked below. But if you are now in the process of getting ready to give that presentation, where do you give yourself some presence capability? I do that a couple different ways. First, in the shower, right? If you're in the shower, you're just standing there typically being mindless anyway. Your brain's not really thinking about anything in particular. While you're in between brushing your hair, you can stand like a superhero. Legs far and out, hands on your hips, neck high, shoulders up. Stand like that for as long as you feel like you can. 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Doing that will innately improve upon your ability to perform, and it will up the confidence inside your brain. Once you get out of the shower, you can do it other times, right? Even if you're driving in the car to your meeting, you cannot drive in a submissive posture and tone and things like this down. You can drive a little bit wider, both hands on the wheels, neck up, right? Again, that's that type of posture that's going to continue to remind your mind that you are getting ready to do that. When you get to wherever you're doing what you're doing, if it's in a public place, you got a couple options. I always definitely use the restroom. Go into the restroom, find the stall right before you get ready to talk. Make sure you turn your mic off if you're in there, right? Some people have walked in, they've got a wireless mic and they don't shut it off. You don't want to hear what's going on in the bathroom. Just saying. Not that it's happened to me before. But go into the stall, lock the stall, and that's where you can really stand and look pretty funny, but nobody's gonna see you, right? Stand there for as long as you need to, as much time as you have. Get that pose. You can even do some nice box breathing, which I'll talk about in another video. Get that starfish up superpower pose going significantly in there. And then finally, right before you get ready to go up, I look at the art on the walls extensively wherever I'm going. And I do that because it allows me to stand. Again, looking at the art on the walls, nice broad open posture, and if somebody comes up to talk to you, you don't look like you're standing like a superhero, you just look like you're kind of standing looking at the art, right? Or even if you're standing talking to someone, if you can do it in a little bit less overt way, just standing with your hands on your hips while you're engaging with another person. These are all ways to build up the amount of confidence in your mind so that you can perform better, right? So, to recap, if you want to perform with poise, with confidence, with the ability that you know you innately have, but you just need to conjure up a little bit more of that courage, do some meditation. We'll talk about that later. Do some mindfulness exercises and stand like a superhero. That will be able to provide you with plenty of opportunities to come out and perform at your best. Give it a shot today. I guarantee it's going to up your capabilities just a little bit more. And that will absolutely improve upon your ability to perform and do better, and then move on to your next thing that you're doing to change your own world or the world around you. I hope this was helpful today. Really appreciate you joining me on this journey. It's such an honor to have you here. What questions do you have, and what can you do, and what have you done in the past to improve upon your ability to perform? Put some of those in the notes below if you're here on YouTube. Be curious what you do so we can have others in the community learn from you as well. This is a full open community. If you're listening on podcasts specifically today, give it a shot. Give that power pose one shot today when you're getting ready to do something that's important to you. Tell me if you think that has improved your ability to perform. If you do like this type of content, please do feel free to give me a subscribe. I drop new content every single week, similar to the fire community, the police, the public safety community, as well as how to simply perform better by getting your mind right while you are performing in a professional situation. Like this video too if you do appreciate it. And don't forget to get your free guide, hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.